Hello everyone, welcome back to Fulgrim Gaming's Let's Play of Super Mario RPG, and in this episode we're going to take a little bit more of a break from the action here, mainly just because I'm trying to wrap everything up before I go into Bowser's Keep, because once you go in there, I mean, you can come back out here and stuff, but it's like, once you go in there, you really want to go to the end of the game, just because it's a pretty cool sequence until the end. But the first thing I want to do is buy fireworks from this guy, and you have to have 500 coins for this, but it is worth it, so just buy it. Actually, depending on how many fireworks you buy from them, you get a different, like, formation of stars. I don't really know how to explain it at the end of the game. So if you have extra coins, you might as well come back here and, you know, get fireworks. But what my primary purpose for using them is to give them to this little girl. Welcome to my per 10 store. Would you like a shiny stone? Sure. You'll trade your fireworks? Yes. Thank you, please come again. Alright, so there's a shiny stone, which you might be wondering what that's for, but it'll actually come in pretty handy in just about 2 minutes. I also want to buy some stuff from this rare item shop here, so a lucky jewel. Let me buy that real quick for 100 coins. I don't think there's enough, I don't think I've progressed far enough in the game for there to be the best item here, which is Peach's ultimate weapon. I'm calling them ultimate weapons like it's a Final Fantasy game. Oh, apparently I don't have enough coins, so whatever. Oh, he does have. Okay. Let's see. So I've got some decisions to make here. I'll go ahead and sell. I really don't want that ghost amulet or medal or whatever it's called, so I'm just gonna sell that. Like, it's really not useful at all. Because if any bosses use Shredder or whatever, it's gone. It doesn't work. So might as well sell it. Alright, and it does the same thing that the Geno boost does, anyway, and Geno's now in our party, so might as well keep it, or sell it. And now, the metal plate. I'll buy it. Alright, so the metal plate is Peach's ultimate weapon. So let's get rid of the war fan and give her the frying pan. Isn't that really, like... Never mind. I bet you know what I was about to say about the frying pan being given to Peach. But I think we are ready to go ahead and fight the hardest boss in the game. And to do so, we need to go over here, way back to Monster Town, and use our shiny stone that we got from the per 10 store on the door that I'm not sure if I showed it before, but there's a door that won't open unless you have the stone in your inventory. Alright, so here it is, right here. Before I go in there, let me make sure I'm all healed up and everything is set how it's supposed to be. Lazy shell fire, okay. I think we're good. Actually, the rare scarf might, if it gives more defense to boo... Oh, okay, well, might as well... Okay, he gets the Jinx Belt. We're ready to go in here. Actually, let me save real quick. The reason I'm being so hesitant to go in there is because this really is the hardest boss in the game. He's got, like, total around 12,000 HP or so, because there's, like, 5 enemies you gotta fight. But I think we can take him. And I don't know if it's... Actually, it is smart. I'll just leave Geno. I was gonna say maybe I should give it to Bowser. Give Bowser the fight, but I'll let Geno have it. Alright, the seal has been broken. Now, look at this. I think this is a really cool animation, or whatever you want to call it. And there's an enemy coming in from the top that doesn't look like anything from a Mario game. Because this is Culex, Dark Knight of Vanda. I have crossed into this dimension to fight for the Dark Mage, but this world is uninhabitable for me and my kind. I must return to my own world. Before I go, though, I would like to challenge your strongest knight. Will you accept my challenge? You will enter combat against me? Yes. On guard. Culex. I am matter. I am antimatter. I can see your past. I can see your future. I consume time, and I will consume you. Ooh boy, the hardest boss in the game. And in episode, what, like 29 or something? Alright, so the first thing I like to do with Mario is use physical attacks on the Wind Crystal. Because he's only got like 12, I think like 800 HP or 1200, something right, I don't know, right around there. And then use Geno. Blast. This boss actually does have Shredder. The Culex does, not the crystals. So it might not be like useful to have the, what's it called? Either the Geno boost or the, what is that? I can't remember. The Troopa Pin. So you might as well just not even use those. But this boss is actually very, very difficult. The good thing is that we have the rare scarf, or the attack scarf on Mario, and Peach is not going to take a whole lot of damage here. So I think we'll be fine. So while I'm fighting him, I want to go ahead and talk about some topics that I found from around the internet here. And by the way, before I start on those, the only thing is that Peach is going to be using... you would think the Psych Bomb would be really good, but I've found with the Lazy Shell on that it doesn't really do all that much damage, so it's not really worth it. Just go ahead and use the Group Hug and have her use... that won't do any damage. Oh, miss. It wouldn't have done any damage if it had hit anyway. But anyway, have her use the Group Hug. Are you kidding me? Group Hug and FP replenishing attacks. Or items. Alright, now that we've got all that out of the way, you can sit back and watch the fight while I talk about some other stuff. The first thing I want to talk about is I've seen some... won't do any damage, haha. That safety ring she has on cuts all elemental damage to 0, so that's why. But anyway, the first thing I want to talk about is I've seen screenshots and gameplay of the new Resident Evil game that came out, Operation Raccoon City or whatever, and to me it does not look like a Resident Evil game at all. And I've just recently played through Resident Evil 4, and I have 1, 2, and 3 ready to go. I just haven't played them yet. And I've played a little bit of 5. It does not, to me, it doesn't look like anything like those other games whatsoever. So I'm not sure how much I'm going to like it. I haven't played it yet. I'm sure, for true fans of the series, I'm sure it's going to be fine. But, I mean, I'm like one of those borderline people that, like, while I love Resident Evil 4, 1, I just couldn't get over the horrible controls. Like, that was just awful. But I know it was a good game, I'm just saying. So, that's what I have to say about Resident Evil Raccoon City. It just, to me, it looks like Gears of War a little bit. Wow, I'm surprised I didn't take him out. But, so I'm probably not going to end up getting it. I'm not even sure how the reviews, like what the reviews say about it, but personally, I'm not going to be getting it. And also, another thing I wanted to talk about. Where I live, and I'm sure it's like widespread around the country too, a game called, what's it called, Draw Something, has become really popular for some reason. And I'm not really sure why. It's kind of like Words with Friends. I don't know if you remember that craze. That might even be still going on. But those games, like they're Android, they're smartphone games or whatever, where you can play Words with Friends. It's kind of like, I guess you could describe it as like Scrabble. But Draw Something is where you gotta... I've played it before. You gotta draw something, aptly enough. And the person you're playing with pretty much has to guess what you drew. And you have like 3 choices to pick from. The thing what I want to get to here is, it seems like, and I'm not sure whether this is for better or for worse, that casual gaming, and I know it's been like this for several years now, but casual gaming is becoming huge. When my mom is playing Draw Something, when, actually, you know, that's not even a fair comparison, because she bought my Super Nintendo before I was born and played Super Mario World before I was born. But when, okay, let's a better example. When my grandma, who's like 67 or so, is playing Draw Something and Words with Friends with her grandkids, I think personally that's pretty cool. I know a lot of kids, like the core gamers or whatever you want to call it, are going to say that gaming should be for, you know, I don't know, the hardcore crowd or something. But personally, I think it's really cool. Let me go ahead and use... You know, that really... I didn't buy any FP replenishing items here. Let's see, what am I going to do here? I'll just go ahead and get Mario up. I do have a couple of Kira Kira Colas, so I'll just probably have to end up using those. Okay, so the next thing... okay, casual gaming, little wrap-up. I think it's really cool. I just don't want it to affect the regular games. It seems like lately, gaming has become... There are still a lot of really good games. It just seems like more games are becoming casual now, which I don't really know how to explain. Wow, that sucks. Okay, let's get Gino up. He would probably be the next one to attack anyway. Maybe he can get his... Nope, okay, fine. As long as I don't kill Peach, I'm pretty much fair, like golden. Alright, so I'm done talking about casual gaming. That probably would be a really good topic for when we start up the Full Grown podcast. Alright, Mario, get up. And, okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is Ninja Gaiden 3. For those of you who've never played a Ninja Gaiden game before, you're probably missing out. Like, the original Ninja Gaiden was impossible, but it was still fun. Like, that's another thing I'll talk about in a minute, probably. Like, impossible games and how fun those are to me. Okay, Ninja Gaiden 2, I thought was really good. And I know a lot of people, like, a lot of my friends just didn't like it all that much, but I thought it was a pretty good hack and slash, or whatever you want to call those games. Let me go ahead and use a maple syrup. But it was fun, it was enjoyable. I didn't beat it, but that's because it wasn't mine. Anyway, Ninja Gaiden 3 came out, and it got horrible reviews. And it sounds like it was deserved. Like, normally when a big game comes out, I'm kind of hesitant to believe what I hear about it, because it seems like people like to go against the grain and give it a worse review than it probably deserved, but it sounds like it deserved it. Apparently, there's only one weapon in the whole game with no upgrades and all that kind of, like, apparently, okay, well, the Wind Crystal's out. That, to me, is unacceptable for a Ninja Gaiden game, especially after Ninja Gaiden 2 had the weapons and upgrades it did. I just, sometimes, see, that's one of the things I just don't get. Why? It seems like developers are taking the easy way out these days, and I just don't get it. And I'm really trying not to talk about Mass Effect 3 right now, so don't get me started on that. So the other thing that kind of came off of that topic was, wow, Gino's done, is the topic of hard games, kind of like, okay, I'm trying to think of a good word for this. There's a game that came out, I think within the last year, I'm not really sure when it came out, Dark Souls, I think it is. There's a series there, I'm not sure if Dark Souls is the one that just came out or not, but it was really, really hard, and I never played it personally. But, okay, well, thanks. He's down. I just need to get them up, and I want to use red essences on them. But, what am I trying to talk about? Hard games. And the escape, not really, okay, the front runner maybe for that recently is the Dark Souls game, like, series. I'm not sure what you would call that series. But people seem to really like those really hard games. And I really like really hard games. And from what I've heard, I've never played it, that's awesome. Freebie red essence is that it's really like an RPG, like a really hard RPG. I'm not sure if it's an action RPG or whatever, but from what I've heard, it's really good, it's really hard, and I like games like that. But it seems like we're not getting that many games like that anymore, and we are, to me it seems like we're making a transition towards like more casual games, which I can understand. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because I know that if you appeal to a wider audience, you're going to get more money. But I also wish, on the other hand, like, and I'm not saying that there's no, like, regular games left anymore, because obviously we've got stuff like Skyrim, and Max Payne 3 is coming out, and I'm sure GTA 5 is just going to be as good as it was, as 4 was. And that's a whole other topic, how good 4 was. But I don't really know where I'm going with this. All I'm saying is that I wish there were more hard games, not because I'm a hardcore gamer, just because I legitimately like challenges in my games. Alright, so Gino's really getting hammered here. Let me bring him back with the comeback attack. I probably used this in the last episode. But the next thing I want to talk about is there's a store called Game, and I'm not sure where this is located. It's probably either Canada or, I don't know, England maybe. I'm sorry, I don't really know. But anyway, basically they're closing. Like, things are really going south for them. And to me, it's kind of funny, because it seems like they really went south really, really quickly. Because I don't remember them hearing anything about them until they started closing about, I'd say 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I'm not really sure why they're closing, but I bet it's a good thing for developers, because that's one less outlet for them to sell used games. And every time I talk about something, there's something new to talk about. Used games. I'm not sure if I've said this before, but if the new Xbox doesn't allow used games to be played, and the PlayStation 4 does allow them to be played, you can bet which one I'm going to be buying. I don't have to say any more than that. Excuse me. But, okay, I feel like I'm ripping on a whole bunch of topics here, which might get on the nerves of a whole bunch of people. Like, I don't know, might be going against the grain of a bunch of opinions here, or I might not be, I'm not sure. Alright, hopefully the Earth Crystal gets taken out here. Come on, man. This guy's really strong. This is why this is the hardest boss in the game. If I didn't have that red essence, it would be a whole lot harder, I would say. I should probably use a red essence on Gino, too. Okay, now, the next thing I want to talk about is the Counter-Strike Global Offensive Beta. And I bought Counter-Strike Source. Like, I'd say, I think it was over the Christmas sale, because it was on sale for about, it was like $5 or $10. And, okay, Kira Cola is probably what I'm going to have to do here. I've got a bunch of stockpiled, so I'm probably just going to use them. I got Counter-Strike Source over the Christmas sales. And since then, I've probably played around 30 or 40 hours of it. And for me, playing a PC shooter, I'm not that good at PC shooters. So for me to have played that much, there goes the Earth Crystal, it's like a pretty good accomplishment for me. And I'm not going to say I'm good by a long shot, because I know I'm not. but it's still really fun to me. The thing is, if I play console shooters and I'm not good at them, I don't have fun. But for some reason, when I'm playing a PC shooter, I understand that it's just a new thing that I have to get good at. But when I'm playing a console shooter and I'm not doing well, I'm like, well, I've been playing console shooters for probably 7 to 10 years now, counting the N64 era, and I should be doing better than this. I don't know where I'm going with that. But anyway, I got into the Counter-Strike Global Offensive beta, and okay, I can tell it's probably going to be good. The only thing is they won't let you turn off shadows, which for my computer and my god-awful graphics card, that's really not a good thing, because I think I never go any higher than around 20 FPS, which for a shooter like that is probably not a good thing. And you can tell, like, he's really hurting now. I already took out the Earth Crystal, and the Water Crystal, and the Wind Crystal, so I got the Fire and Culex left. I think Culex has 4,096 HP, so he should be pretty close, too. Alright, so let me... Now, Global Offensive, you can't turn off the shadows, and that isn't really good. And the map that okay, every week or so, maybe every 2 weeks, they change the map that you play on. And the map that was being played when I got the beta was the lake map, and it really just didn't work out because there were so many shadows, and there was a pond or a lake that really took a drain on my FPS, so I couldn't play it. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is I got into the beta and I can't even play it. And basically, looking at like a whole bunch of internet sites, people really want to get into this game and they can't, and then they let somebody like me in who can't even play the game. So I don't know what to think about that. I'm sure, like, the thing, I got the beta from doing a survey, and I had to tell them what my, like, hardware was. You would think they would know that I couldn't play the game. But the thing about the shadows is, if I could turn the shadows off and turn the textures down and all that, I could probably play it. So hopefully in the final release, they will let me turn the shadows off. Because as of right now, it's pretty unplayable for me. Alright, it looks like this battle's about to wrap up here. This is a really, really long battle to me. It seems like. I'm not sure how long it's been. Right. See, the thing is, when he uses Shredder, it doesn't do anything unless you've used an attack that boosts, like, stats, so it's really just a free turn. And the last thing I want to talk about, probably because I won't have much time to talk after this, before this episode, basically what me and Joe do, or Joe and I, is we look up just popular stuff going on around the internet, and if it fits what we're talking, like, something that would be good for an episode, we talk about it. So, one thing I found on 1UP is they had a list of unpopular games that were good or whatever, and one of them was Banjo-Kazooie. And from what I know, that's not really an unpopular game, and it certainly, like, it sold well, and I know it was a really good game. And that's like the majority opinion, I thought. So for it to be on the unpopular games list, I was just like kind of taken aback that a game like that would be on that kind of list. Alright, let me take this. But, so, I don't agree with that. And also, Dynasty Warriors was on there, and that's probably less popular than Banjo-Kazooie. But I remember playing Dynasty Warriors with my friends and stuff all throughout, like, elementary school. And I don't know, we had a lot of fun with that. So, basically, I guess you can't really, I guess you can't agree with everything. It just seems like, I just don't know how you can fit Banjo-Kazooie into a list of the most unpopular games that were somehow good. I don't know. Alright, he should be about wrapped up here. There we go! And you can hear the Final Fantasy Victory theme going on back there. Alright, so for Geno, actually, look at that. 3 points to attack, I'm gonna go ahead and take that. Peach leveling up, alright. Let's see. Might as well just go ahead and do HP. And Mallow's also leveling up, because we got a lot of got a lot of experience in that fight. Alright. Ah, your spirit is strong. Thank you, Brave Knight. And listen, before I continue, listen to the music. See, I like references to other games. This is clearly a Final Fantasy reference. It's just, I don't know, I like that, having that in the game. Perhaps in another time, another game, we may have been mortal enemies. Let us part as comrades in arms. Take this. Treasure it as a keepsake of our fight. Now, the Core's Charm is a really, really good item. So I'll probably be using that from now on. Alright. It feels good to get the hardest enemy in the game out of the way so early. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. Thank you guys. Oh, let me say it real quick. I want to thank you guys for watching this episode, and I know I had a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. If you have any opinions on what I've said or anything, feel free to talk about them in the comments or whatever. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.